broadcasting. We're selling people all over the world. So get this, everybody. I'm also, this Saturday, I am also going to be officiating 2 longtime clients who, DJ, get this, they met at the summit in 2013, fell in love, which probably meant they went to one of my nightclub cocktail party fun sessions.
Yes.
I think there may have been a serious makeout session before all of this, and now they're getting married. So pretty exciting.
Who is it?
It's Eric and so Carrie White from Santa Monica, California. Instagram sensation, probably
I
8,
sat
9.
next to Eric's mom at the Bacara team.
Sure. Yes. I mean, they run a like you guys, just phenomenal team, great culture, great people, great business. They're in what I guess it'd be like Upland, California. Carrie's over in Santa Monica. He's literally commuting back and forth, 2-3 hours a day, and they're making it work. So it's super fun. All right, looks like we got the other office.
There they are.
There they are.
I would unmute yourself, Daniel. They're gonna ask you questions.
Unmute.
Oh, mute. All right, good now. Hear us?
Hey, there we go. Hey guys, will you do me a favor? Turn the camera maybe down a tad, because right now this is kind of what I see. This is what I'm looking at. Yeah, DJ, that's perfect. And then Eric, same thing.
Daniel.
Oh, Daniel, I apologize.
No
All right,
worries.
listen. I got on early. I got a bunch of stuff to cover with you guys. Do you all have some way of taking some notes?
Yeah.
Outstanding. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna go at you a little fast because I want to ask you a bunch of questions. But I want to start by saying, look, I look at the numbers as you all do. January, February were funky for a lot of reasons. Yesterday, DJ, I actually shot my monthly How's the Market video in association with KCM. And we pointed to all the obvious reasons why January and February were wonky, right? Interest rates being basically the main driver. But if you look at, collectively, the performance of all of you, March to yesterday, you guys and gals have just gone like through the roof. So I want to start just by saying to all of you, congratulations. Right? So then I wrote down the following for you guys. Having just, maybe 25, 30 minutes with you, there's 3 things that I want to accomplish. Don't write this down, just listen, and then I'll tell you when I want you guys to write. The first thing is, I want to ask you, I want to sort of assume the role of everybody's coach. So anytime I'm going to do that, I'm going to start by asking a lot of strategic questions, right? Questions that could frame or shift or reorganize the way you're approaching your business between now and the end of the year. So I'm going to talk to you about that. Second thing is I want to give you kind of 2 simple hacks that will allow you to get more stuff done, to produce even more results and have a lot more fun, right? Which I'm a big fan of. And then the third thing is I've got a challenge for you all. So why don't we start by, let's just go right into my notes. And this I'd like you to write down because it'll, for those of you that have, we haven't had a chance to meet face to face and, this technology is bananas because we can connect on this level and you kind of see me in my, crazy environment. Speaking of bananas, there's some over there. And that right there is the entire summit written on the wall. I mean, I'm in my vibe, you're in your vibe. I believe the following. Please write this down. I believe that a business that isn't rigorously examined and re-examined, I believe that a business that isn't rigorously examined and re-examined for improvement, right? For improvement, examine and re-examine. Open up the robe, see what's going on, get under the hood, what's working, what's not working, right? Examine and re-examine for improvement is a business that I don't want to own. A business that isn't rigorously examined and re-examined for improvement is a business I don't want to own. I was working yesterday, and I can't name the company for fairness to them. But like some of the big brokerages and CEOs that I worked with today, they were complaining about competition. They were complaining about some of the, the ad spend and disruptors in the marketplace. And after I listened to all their complaints, and we're talking about, guys, this is like it's a huge company. I basically just said to them, look, the reason why you're not doing well, the reason why you're getting your ass kicked by some upstart is because you haven't done what everybody else that is succeeding does, which is reinventing yourself every 12 to 18 months. Reinventing yourself every 12 to 18 months. Now, again, I'm talking to the collective. I'm talking really, though, to you individually. If you want to succeed at a much higher level, right? If you want to serve more clients, sell more houses, make more money, make your dent in the real estate universe, you can't sit back and just say, DJ and Lindsay got this. You got to say, DJ and Lindsay have it. And if I don't take some personal responsibility to rigorously examine and re-examine my own performance to improve, then I'm going to miss the mark. I think about it all the time, guys. Like, I've been in this game for so long. I mean, I'm going to be 49 next month. I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. And, when you have as many conversations as I have, it's always fascinating, right? I call it the world famous tale of the two. Two agents go to work in the same exact office, have a similar ambition. They're fired up. They want to do well. They want to make money. They want to, like they're in, right? They're committed. One person does insanely great. One person does okay, right? So if they both have the same training, they both have the same leads, they both were in the same environment, they both have the same management support, why is it that one person does phenomenally well and another person seems to just struggle, right? We've all seen this. We've seen it in athletics. We've seen it in grades at school. We've seen it in relationships. We've all seen this sort of disparity between those that crush it and those that just do okay. And I would argue, my friends, that above all things, I've dealt with 1 million people in my career. I've had 33,000 hours of one-on-one sessions with, this morning, the CEO of Home Services, my personal client, a multi-billion-dollar business, to an entrepreneur starting a tech company and everything under the sun. You look at it and you say, why is it that some people kill it and with the same exact opportunity other people don't? Like, why is that? I would argue that the people that kill it are the ones that are ruthless about getting better. They are ruthless about improving. They don't take it personally when they get rejected. They don't take it personally when the deal falls apart. They don't like, oh God, let's go drink. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh, my deal fell apart. They say, okay, what did I do? What's the cost? How am I going to get better? What can I learn from this? Because the only way you become exceptional is you get your ass kicked over and over and over, and you learn the lessons and you make the adjustments, and that's where you find excellence. So I say that to all of you. I don't know if you guys know this, but across the country, you guys and gals as a team are recognized on a pretty big level. There's a lot of swag when people talk about the success and the results that all of you produce. Do you guys all know that? We do? And look, I'm not trying to, pump your ego here. Whether it's the Wall Street Journal Top 1000, the America's Best, right? Like the nation knows that you guys and gals as a group kick ass. Now that could add some pressure also. But I want to go back to my point. The people that are exceptional take on the pressure. The people that are exceptional, that crush it, are the ones that learn the lessons, that are willing to examine themselves and their performance and not give themselves some BS story or excuse. They don't let themselves off the hook. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of that is just to sort of set the playing field for 5 questions that I want all of you to answer individually. And if time permits, maybe when I'm done, I don't know what your schedule is, DJ. We were kind of texting about it this morning. Maybe you guys could answer some of these questions collectively together. Is that cool?
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So you ready? The 5 questions I want you to answer. What I want you to do is okay. I like scorecards. I like scoreboarding everything. I know you guys do too. I look over there on my wall. I don't know if you guys can see it, but literally that is all of the sales performance, the 90 people that are my sales team. My coaches get scoreboarded every month. I mean, like, I'm into checking out where we're at, both self-assessment and quantitatively the numbers. So this is a little more self-assessment. You ready? Question number 1, I want to know about you. Ready? Scale from 1 to 10. How did you do on your hours of power, AKA prospecting, to appointments booked? So how many hours do you get on the phone to generate 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 appointments? That's a number that if I was your individual coach, I would be demanding that we know. Like, there's going to be some of you that you get on the phone because of the insane amount of leads that are coming into the business. Some of you could be 15 minutes and you got an appointment. Some of you might be an hour and a half. I want to know, where do you stand? Because wherever you stand, there's going to be room for either A, let's book more appointments, B, let's book better appointments, or C, let's close the gap on time. So the second question I want you to answer, you ready? Is how are you doing from your appointments booked to offers written? How are you doing from your appointments booked to offers written? Now, I know you all know that, DJ and Lindsay will share with me, and we have a goal of, 2,000 appointments this year. And then we know how many buy-side transactions we want to end up at. And I would argue that in these 2 collective rooms, some of you might go on 3 appointments and write an offer, right? When you look at your full numbers for the year or 6 months, where some people are going on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 appointments before they write an offer. Again, a business that isn't rigorously examined and re-examined for improvement is not a business that I want to own. And I would argue for you individually, every one of you listening right now, if you're, as an example, if you're taking 10 appointments to write an offer and someone else is going on 3 appointments to write an offer, I want to know what she's doing. I don't want to go on 10 appointments for one. I want to go 3 to 1 as an example. So how are you doing on those first 2 questions? Question number 3, you ready? I want to know, how are you doing from offers written to accepted? Offers written to accepted. And you could probably argue accepted to close as well. How is your personal results there? Now, I don't know, and I'm clearly assuming that every one of you knows these numbers inside and out, or you have some awareness around it. Because certainly, as a company, we're tracking and measuring these things. Maybe I should back up and just share with you guys, why that is. So I'm gonna move away from the questions for a second, and I want you to write down some notes so you understand the operating philosophy that we basically use to grow the business. Is that fair, everybody? Okay, so write down in your notes, we call it the 4DX. The number 4, the letter D, the letter X. Oftentimes known as the 4 disciplines of execution. So I assume what all of us want is more money, more success, more certainty around our results, less uncertainty, less, our income going like this, but more steady growth. Everybody wants the same thing. What we then need to recognize is there is an operating system that some of the most, Apple uses this as an example. Apple, the company, we use it. You guys use it. I just don't know how deep of an understanding collectively or individually you all have. So I'm going to share it real quick. You ready? The first discipline of the most successful businesses on the planet, number one is they've got a wildly important goal. A wildly important goal. So I know, when I talk to DJ, we talk about, hey, this is the goal. This is what we're going for. This is the singular focus that we have as a company. This is our, individual, if you will, vision and mission. What I want to know from each one of you individually is, what's your wildly important goal? And notice I didn't say, what's your goal? I said, what is your wildly important goal? Like, I'm going to do 25 deals this year. I'm just making that this example. And if at the end of the year, I'm at 24, I'm buying a freaking house. You with me? Like, I'm going to, my reasons for achieving it are so strong that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. That's a wildly important goal. Number two, you ready? The second discipline is you act on your KPIs, your key performance indicators, which means that individually we know my goal is 40 transactions. I need to go on this many appointments, write this many offers, do this many hours of power to realize my goal. Right? So it goes from this big, exciting, I want to earn this much money as an example to this is the shit I have to do 6 days a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, whatever it is, to guarantee my results, because this business above everything else is a math equation. Please write that down. This business is a math equation. Now, I barely got out of high school, my friends, but I understand if I talk to 27 people and that gets me a closing, I'm going to talk to 27 people every day. It's just math. You with me? Number three, the third discipline, and this you will all see because it's very cultural for your business. The third discipline is you must scoreboard everything. You got to scoreboard everything, which you look around the offices and you see, listings boards, sales boards, competitions, contests, numbers, right? How's everybody doing? I would argue, though, you need to be doing it individually yourself. You against your goal, measuring your performance. The old phrase is, if it matters, you measure it. If it matters, you measure it. But where that comes from is Pearson's law. And Pearson's law basically says, when you measure performance, performance improves. Like, it's a law, my friends. When you measure performance, performance improves, period, end of story. When you measure performance, performance improves. So if I want to up my sales game, I've got to implement the discipline of scoreboarding and measuring my results. The fourth and last discipline is called the cadence of accountability. The cadence of accountability. And by cadence, of course, we mean rhythm, frequency. So a lot of you are younger, but I'm curious, do any of you have kids? And if you do, just raise your hands. All right, I see a couple hands there. So what if I told you, for those of you that are watching, and for those of you that don't have kids, you're somebody's kid, so you can relate. What if I told you that my son came to me in his 9th grade year of high school and said, I really want to go to a college like this. And I'm like, okay, well, what would it require? Like, what are the KPIs? If that's the goal, what are the KPIs? He's like, I probably got to study an extra hour every day. I probably need to improve my tennis game as a tennis player, right? By this much. I've got to get to this, result in tennis ranking. And I've got to get this GPA. Now, what if I wrote all that stuff down, put it all on the wall, and then never brought it up to him? What do you think would happen?
Just forget about it. Walk
You
by.
go to community college.
He'd go to community college. Maybe, right? Now, I use that example because no different from a friend of mine who decides to stop drinking, right? So he says, I'm stopping drinking. Here's why. And like, the KPI is easy. Don't drink, right? let's scoreboard it. How many days in a row have you not, had a drink? And then the cadence of accountability is I text him every day and say, how's it going? Now, here he is, 5 weeks later. And by the way, this guy wasn't a raging, out of control alcoholic, but what he recognized was he was suppressing himself at night because of the stress of his business, which was negatively impacting his relationship. So we decided, stop drinking alcohol, feel your feelings, deal with your issues, and get tighter with your spouse. Stop suppressing yourself. Make sense? But it's the 4 disciplines to stop drinking. It's the 4 disciplines to get my kid. And by the way, he got into the college. He actually got into 11 different colleges that he wanted to go to and was able to select the one he wanted. For the record, it would have been nice if he selected the one that actually gave him some money, but that's a whole other story. The point is, whether we're talking about sales performance, stopping drinking, losing weight, getting your kid into college, the same disciplines apply across the board. The key is you have to execute. You got to declare that wildly important goal. You got to look at your KPIs. You got to get really clear that if it's not up in visual and you're not looking at it on a daily basis, and then someone needs to say to you, how you doing? Where you at? Because let me tell you guys, take this the right way. For all of us right now, me included, left to our own devices, we will not go out and produce outside of our comfort zone. Left to our own devices, most of us will do just enough to sort of match our personal psychology, but we won't make the extra 10 calls. We won't go out of our way to crush the extra 10 deals when that's certainly what's available. It's not a knock against me or you. This is what it is. When you measure performance, performance improves. Here's the hook of Pearson's Law. And when you report the numbers with frequency, you get geometric growth. So what all of us need to figure out is, how are we going to up our cadence of accountability? Now, that was my little side note, so you understand why I'm asking all these questions. Let's go back to the questions. The first one I asked you was, what's your hour of power to appointment book? The second one was, what's your appointment book to offer written? How many appointments you go on before you write an offer? Third one is, how many offers written to and accepted? Which tells me, if those numbers are out of whack, you don't know what's going on. You're writing crappy offers. You haven't set the right expectation for the buyer. You didn't clearly articulate how to buy a home in that price range, in that area, when supply and demand are a factor. These are all things that we can improve on. Here's the fourth question. You ready? Scale from 1 to 10. How has your mental toughness been this year? Scale from 1 to 10. How mentally tough have you been? Now, to be clear, my definition of mental toughness is I do my job with inspired action, regardless of what's going on around me. I do my job with inspired action, regardless of what's going on around me. World's falling apart, right? I do my job. Earthquake in California, get on the phones. Now, you guys might say, that's crazy, but how many of you know someone that literally every day for them is like this? They wake up in the morning, they're like, oh my God, I got nothing going on. I've got no leads. I've got no money. I've got no prospects. Oh my God, my phone's ringing. This is going to be great. It's a lead. Oh, it's DJ asking me if he wants me to, by coming to the office. Oh, but he's got a lead for me. Oh my God, and that's like 9 o'clock in the morning to 9:01. Do you guys know anybody like that?
No.
Not here.
No.
You all know people like that. I'm glad to hear there's no one in the office like that.
No.
So how would you rate your mental toughness? Scale from 1 to 10. And here's the last question. You ready? How would you rate your ability to problem solve for buyers and sellers? How would you rate your ability to problem solve for buyers and sellers? Recognizing that we solve problems for a profit. Every buyer has a problem. Every seller has a problem. a dear friend of mine, a guy named Marty Rodriguez, who, I don't know, for 10 straight years was the #1 Century 21 agent on the planet, been a personal client for almost, 23, 24 years. She has been in real estate now, I want to say for 32 years, and has she basically says, what I do is I deal doctor all day long. Now, she has a gift, but that gift is battle tested. And the faster each of you can work on your ability to negotiate, to ask, each other, ask DJ and Lindsay, ask other brokers, how did you solve this? What did you do? What was the best approach? We live in a world, my friends, of emotional states of customers. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Should we move forward? Should we not move forward? I'm uncertain. I'm not sure what to do, right? This is typical every single day. And you guys know all the craziness that we all get to deal with. How are you at getting somebody to get rational in an irrational environment? How are you at getting somebody to get a little less emotional and more logical when everything about what they're dealing with feels, sporadic and crazy? How do you get somebody to negotiate better? How do you get somebody to write a better offer? All these points, my friends, drive not only your confidence, but then ultimately your results. So the thing I wrote down for you guys is do a little self-assessment beyond just your transactions and where you're at in terms of the standing of the business and your goals, but look at those 5 as an example to find areas to rigorously examine and improve. All right, major point number 2, and I got to be mindful of time. Ready? Actually, I'm just going to give you one. I'm going to give you one hack. So one hack that I would recommend to improve your performance, write this down. You ready? I want you to spend 30 minutes every day improving your selling skills. When people say to me, and do any of you follow me on Instagram? Just raise your hands if you follow me on Instagram. Great, 5 of you, thanks. Hi, I'm Tom. I'm on Instagram. I would argue that one of the things that I do that brings the most value on Instagram is I'll just post, who's got a question, how can I help? And I think I've answered a little over 3,000 questions now, probably in the last, 6 months, 7 months. And inevitably I'll get the question of, how do I improve my performance? How do I get more time? I want to sell more and I want to get more time. And my answer is always the same. You have to improve your ability to influence a buyer or seller. You've got to improve your selling skills so you can get to the yes faster. You can discover who's a no faster, who's a looky-loo faster, who's never going to pull the trigger faster, who wants to buy but only will do it at a rock bottom price, which is not the market that we're in. Selling skills, it's like I mentioned earlier, right? You take 2 salespeople, they both join the company, they both get equal leads, they both have equal ambition. One sells a ton, one sells less. The second defining factor is always salesmanship, right? The ability to ask a series of questions that naturally and automatically lead the prospect and you to a mutually desired end result. To write an offer that gets accepted, to close the deal, or to walk away and pass. Here's the thing, my friends. Many of you are physically younger. Your experience, because of your performance, makes you very wise. I would challenge you. Can you handle all the basic objections? Do you know what to say in every selling situation? Do you take that as a badge of honor and pride? I think about one of my personal clients, her grandson, and the daughter obviously I work with as well, the son is now the backup for the Houston Astros as a catcher. So he's a Major League Baseball player, but he's not seeing a lot of time. And so you can imagine, what's the difference between the backup, the third string catcher, and the first guy and the second guy on the Houston Astros, the team he plays for? The difference is skills. That's the difference. They are all good catchers. But the number 1 guy, he has phenomenal skills. And by the way, who do you think makes the most money? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? Number 1 makes it. And you know why? And by the way, the age disparity between Garrett and Bergman, whatever the guy's name is, they're 4 years apart. That's not a lot of time. You with me? And yet, my guy is making, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And this guy's making, 3, 4, 5, 7, $10 million a year. The difference is skills. So my guy, Garrett, right, at USC, where he, was an all-star and got the Johnny Bench Award and played all 4 years, his skills, even at that level, USC, right, University of Southern California, his name is on every banner. They won so much while he was there. His skill level compared to the guy that's starting is a big discrepancy. So what are you going to do? You want more money? You want more time? It's all going to come down to your ability to communicate effectively to clients, to discover what truly matters, and how to match their needs to the right offer to get the deal done. If you're not spending 30 minutes a day, my friends, on your skills, I would argue you're not a surgeon I would ever want operating on me or my children. I have a buddy who does 15 brain surgeries a week. His name is Dr. Chris Duma. He's been my boat partner forever, and our sons are the same exact age. We were in the Daddy and Me group for the last 20 years together. He's doing 15 brain surgeries a week and goes away for about 3 weeks a year just to practice and improve his skills. And guess what? He's not making the kind of money that all of you have in terms of potential. Even though he's brain surgeon top of the food chain with the way the government and insurance, all that shit works, he's not making the kind of money that you guys and gals could make. Skills matter. That's my point. All right. Last one, a challenge, and then I got to bounce. And DJ, I know I said I was maybe only going to be 25 minutes. I realize now I've got on early and I've taken 35, so I apologize. The last one is a challenge to all of you. And here's my challenge. The economy is great. The job market is great. The interest rates are great. Depending upon the price you're in, the price range of the client, inventory is actually pretty good. There's opportunities right now, especially during summer. What I want to know is, I'd love for you guys to brainstorm and decide individually 2 things. Number 1, what are you absolutely committed to between now and the end of the year? How many transactions are you going to do between now and the end of the year? What is that number? Don't write it down yet, just the question. And number two, what are the 2 to 3 most important things you need to work on to make that number a no-brainer? What are 2 or 3 things you personally need to work on to make that number a no-brainer? And by the way, when it's a no-brainer, it means you overachieve on it. You blow past it. My challenge to you, my friends, is what I see is a team of men and women that should be selling 1,000 homes a year. That's what I see. I'm challenging you to step into the greatness that I see. That's my challenge. Fair enough, my friends? All right. Lindsay, DJ, I'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you, everybody, for being who you are and allowing me to jump in and share. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing y'all real soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care.
Maybe he will come.